Alex Twirl! Alex Twirl has ended up with a ball! Oh no! Unbelievable! One small step for man! One giant leap for Alex Twirl!
It's time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Mattrix, and Whisperer.
Yeah, good.
One of those days.
Am I getting an intro? Obviously, yeah, Tigers had a big win, so Braino's still on the sauce and hasn't recovered enough for obviously the week two wrap up. Week two wrap up of the NRL Supercoach show. I'm your host, I guess, SC Whisperer, joined as always by SC Mattrix. My friend, our handles are not on the screen, so maybe we need to change the display. But what a week. Very up and down, same as last week as well. It's round 3, isn't it? It's round 3. Very up and down week. I'm yet to crack 1,000, my friend.
Yeah, I did one week. Didn't this week. Nearly got there. Old Ponga was getting real close, but what a week. Like it was ups, it was downs. But can I just go back to today might have been one of the greatest days of sport ever. Like Australian, Formula 1, NBL finals. It was a rip snorter.
Yeah. Obviously, Oscar Piastri just missed the podium, which was sad for you. I know that you had some wagers on that.
Oh, I didn't actually. I had heaps of money.
We're gonna try.
They let Lando go past him, man.
Yeah, true. We're gonna continue to not talk about NRL. I'm doing well in AFL. I'm flying in AFL Supercoach, and you're doing really well in fantasy. So we might just put off talking about Supercoach as much as possible because it was definitely a week to forget. I mean, it was a week to forget for me, but there was some good scores getting around. I've seen upwards of 12, 20 from competitive teams that are taking it serious, but let's not mess around. We're here for the first game of the round, and unfortunately, we do have to talk about the dismal performance of your Broncos. Losing Reece Walsh in the 5th minute wasn't going to make it easy, especially with Payne Haas out and Reynolds out. Since we recorded Mattrix, we obviously got the news that Payne Haas is having to have a microscopic surgery, so out for probably up to 6 weeks. And then obviously we had the news today of Tino, which is not fun. It compounds, and we'll get to him. But the Panthers ran away 34-12 winners, top scored by Brian To'o with the 124. But I think for most relevancy, Nathan Cleary bounced back with a 121. I devised captaincy on him. I felt very cheated because he was on about 103 at half time and then just pulled up stumps in the second half.
The Broncos did get a lot better, from a football standpoint in the second half as well. I know you had a bet in your Bet with Mates group on a couple of Broncos wingers to score. I know you're a big fan of that. So
so we should probably talk about that. Obviously, we have our Bet with Mates group on Sportsbet where each week we put in $10 and we'd run out of money because our first 3 bets had done nothing. So we all put $10 in and we ran out of money. So we had to redeposit. So we all put in $10 each. So there was $30 in the kitty. And then we put on our $10 bet. And then dickhead over here forgot to change accounts and put on a Broncos same game multi of Arthurs and Mariner to score. And it was 28-0. And we were just like, what are you doing? And then they just went bang, bang. And you won us 20 rounds of money. So we don't have to touch the kitty after 20 rounds.
It was $180. Perfect. I was ready to deposit me $20 and just hand it back to you. But anyway, I'll take that.
Of course, yeah. So obviously Nathan Cleary with the 121 bounce back from him. Isaac Tungo. I put up a stat on X the other day. Through his last 10 games, he's averaging 83 points a game. That includes 4 100s. So he's been in good form the last 2 weeks, but he's also been in form at the back end of last year as well. Isaac Yeo with a 69, it drops off dramatically. It goes from 100 down to sub 70. But I want to highlight my front row forward too. The shining light of my week, Liam Henry, with a 55-pointer. I love seeing him starting my team. I didn't have many bright spots this week, but he was definitely one of them. And Taylor May, obviously, with a 30-pointer as well. All the ball went down Tungo's side. We said this last week. Very rare that both of them are going to go huge in the same week. It'll be one or the other. Obviously, May escaped any kind of serious what's the word? Serious, no, injury with his face, obviously, but serious suspension with that hit on Walsh. Some injury notes coming out of this game. Scott Sorensen was seen in a knee brace, so there could be some ramifications for someone like a Luke Garner getting a start. If he's going to be playing, good minutes, Luke Garner priced at $393K, not the worst option to be looking at either, but should help guys like Lindsay Smith, Liam Henry, and Eisenhuth. For the Broncos, my friend, not a whole lot to talk about here apart from Paddy Carrigan, 73. He was a shining light. He's just your best player right now, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. And even you talk about Cobbo getting some good points there at fullback. I think Tristan Saylor just comes in and takes that. And look, might be a budget option if you're looking elsewhere. But yeah, no, Paddy's a class above everyone else. When you have a look at when you've got Renault, one of the best halfbacks in the game at the moment. You've got Reece Walsh, the Queensland fullback, and Payne Haas, of course, the Australian front row forward, probably the front row forward one in the competition. Look, you're going to be pushing shit uphill, but yeah, encouraging in the last 20 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, it's never easy to play Penrith when you are missing your three best players. It doesn't make it any easier. Pierre Core owners rewarded after he was moved to centre and got absolutely bathed by Tago. He obviously picked up a line break and a try assist for some junk points at the end. Apart from that, man, not a whole lot to talk about. Corey Jensen started the game really well. I think he was on 30 points after about 25 minutes and then just didn't come back on. The X-Man, Xavier Wilson, 277K, or 265K. Punched out a 51. I think he had some attacking stats in there. I will confirm. Looking at that, so he had 21 tackles. He had one effective offload and a line break. So take out the line break, he still scored 41, and for 265K, you're really happy with that.
Yeah, look, you got to do it, and it's probably somebody that you could consider bringing in with how long Haas is out. What do you think? Is it somebody that you would consider bringing in?
Front row forward's tough. I do want to highlight a question here from Will Shaw. He said, in addition to JS, which I'm assuming is me, we have seemed to have stopped answering questions from the live chat. Now, we generally do a big batch at the end. We have done for the last 6 episodes. We generally dedicate about 20 minutes to going through. Yep. We star all the important questions and we go back and talk about them. So please get your questions in. We just don't want to stop the format between talking about players and then answering questions. We'll get through them all at the end. So thank you for your feedback. But yeah, Wilson, it's tough because there were some reports that May, Terrell, that is, went up straight up the what is it? The tunnel. With a leg complaint. So yeah, the thing. I mean, I don't really want to be running Liam Henry as my front row forward 1 and Xavier Willison as my front row forward 2. That's mate, I couldn't do any worse than what's happening.
Oh, with how much money I'm about to lose in Ponga and Nico, I might need to, because you got to save money somewhere. If you're about to, you lose 200 grand. It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to the Wars and the Raiders. The Wars winning this one 18-10, top scored by Roger Tuivasa-Sheck with, that great try at the end. Big talking points from this game. Tane Tuipiki failed a HIA and Charles Cook are probably back in round 5. So that's probably the end of Tane Tuipiki. We'll make a little bit of cash this week, had a break even of -21, scored a 35. So I would expect a price rise of anywhere, 40 to 45 probably. So, I mean, not great for him, probably great for RTS. I would expect to see him go back to fullback for 1 week, and he has scored really well. He scored well in round 1 when Tuipiki went off with a HIA, and obviously scored well again. Adam Fanor-Blake, 77, and that was with a line break and a try, which is a touch concerning. Scored 108 in round 1. That had 2 line breaks and a try in it. Only scored 50 last week as well. So probably his score was probably somewhere, sub 50 without that try. And this is like what we were saying in the preseason Mattrix. Like we weren't too keen on AFB because of that attacking upside, but he scored 2 tries in the first 3 weeks. So what would I know?
And he is a player that is a lot more likely to score a try than a lot of your other front rowers. Like they have plays to get this guy to get out there and score tries. But yeah, look, if those tries start to dry up and you're starting to see 50 in your guy that's, what is he, 700K? You're in trouble.
Yeah, that's the concern. Christian wants to know, what do we think par is for this week? Normally he watches the show on delay, but put the kids down early. Shout out to the kids for sleeping early. Mate, I've seen scores from like, I generally put out my like would you score post, and I could probably pull up the comments on it, but I'm seeing like a lot of 1100s. I'm seeing like a lot of like high thousands, like low 1150s from like serious coaches. Like, what are you thinking?
It's hard because people always go and post on those things when they're going really
What
well.
they've done well.
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
I think you're probably struggling if you're under 1,000, and you probably had a really good week if you got 1,000.
Shout out. So I'm just reading a couple of comments, like 1137 Captain Drinky, 1069 Captain Mulatalo, 1096 Captain Val. Sorry, 1196 Captain Val, 1124 Captain Teddy. So it's looking like 1130, 1140 is looking like a really good score there. So if you're somewhere in and around that ballpark, then that's probably where you want to go. Agent Cheese with a great point. You either went really well this week or really bad. No, I think that's a great way to sum it up. I don't think there was anything in the middle. So you either had Teddy and Holmes and all that, or you had Sam Hughes as your AE, which was me.
Billy Army Fafita, my friend. I will one up you.
The champ. Your boy Luke Metcalf, goal kicking. I think he had a try assist in there as well, scored a 62. So the love continues for him.
Boosted for Metcalf this week.
Did you end up getting him in?
Yeah. So I got in Metcalf, which allowed me to go Gagai to Mulatalo. I just figured I could get the same amount of points in Metcalf as I do like a Dillbags.
That's fair.
And then upgrade Gagai to somebody that I could play and is going to make money. I thought that obviously the Tigers would get rolled, but anyway, you win some, you lose some. In this case, I lost some.
The Tigers don't lose some, my friend. We only win. For the Raiders, Rapana and Timoko, no huge relevance for those boys there, apart from Mattrix only in fantasy. He's taken off, so the floor's all mine. Zach Hosking, 52 points for Zach Hosking. Now, there was some talk coming out of the Raiders before the round started that Ricky Stewart, I'll get you the exact quote because I posted it. He, Whitehead, is our captain. The boys love playing with him, and I will give Zach Hosking some time on the bench. He will come on at important parts of the game. Now, that important part of the game was after 20 minutes, or 21 minutes to be exact, where he came on and replaced Elliot Whitehead, and he came out and scored a 52. So if you did decide to take the plunge on him and play him, great score from you there with a minus 56 break even. He's going to go up probably 90K as well. So you'll be able to sell him for 600K. I mean, you'll probably be able to roll him next week as well. He'll have a relatively decent break even next week too. So if you took the punt on Zach Hosking, well done, because that was a playable score for you. But also, obviously, the cash gen is going to be great. Mattrix, Morgan Smithies, slowly becoming a bit shit.
Like, I see M Smithies there and I just hear mid Smithies in the back of my head. Like, he's like Kobe Hetherington. There's a comparison.
Just boring. I mean, he played 69 nice minutes in round one. Obviously, came with the HIA. Played 80 last week, but only played like not a whole lot this week. I definitely see him came off for a bit. I wasn't watching him too hard. I'd have to look at the minutes properly, but no, I definitely know it wasn't 80. And the scores are getting lower and lower. I mean, that attacking upside is just not there. He's had 2 tackle busts all year. He doesn't know how to offload the ball. And like, I know that people are going to be like, oh, but he's so good for Supercoach. Yeah, he'll be great for another 2 weeks. And then I'm probably just looking to punt him because price at 345. Yeah, I think he starts next week with Horsburgh coming back. Like, I'm not concerned about him not starting. I'm just concerned about the limited upside and the poor minutes for him. And Danny Levi, 29 points. Woo! That's that's impressive for him.
That was way better than I thought. When I thought the tries didn't dry up, I was like, oh man, I hope Lussick goes all right after I traded out Levi to Lussick.
Yes, so not a huge amount of relevance for that game on the early kickoff on Friday, but a lot of relevance in this one. The Roosters 48 to the Rabbitohs 6, nearly ruled the Rabbitohs out of the comp. If they scored 2 more points, we knew we could have put the line through the Rabbitohs. But top scored by Dom Young with a 150. Now, I think Dom Young's a guy that we're going to, want to be having in our sides at some point during the year. That right-hand side is humming with Teddy and Dom Young. He's scoring well. He's already did at the Knights, and if the Roosters can get back to their best, then these 100 plus scores, I don't think are going to be an anomaly for Dom Young.
No, he looked elite, and if they're going that way, much like when we talk about KP going Marju's way or anything like that, like it was scary. They just ripped him to shreds. Like the Rabbitohs were bad, but the Roosters looked really good. And Dom Young looked phenomenal.
Yes. Obviously, when Dom Young's scoring 150, Tedesco has to be involved somewhat, and he scored 135. Shout out, I think, obviously, shout out to the Supercoach experience. Savs was one of the unlucky 17 that did sell him this week. Brutal. I understood the move he sold for Turbo, which I think was a good move before the start of the round, but obviously, hindsight's not great. 135 selling is not fun. Sandon Smith with, Sandon Smith with an 88. Joey Manu with an 84. Yep. And Sam Walker, I feel like I got a lot of messages about Sam Walker. People thought he was cheated because goal kicking, scored 2 tries, but didn't crack 60. That's just Sam Walker's game. Like, he scored 2 tries without line breaks and doesn't really get through the work. So unfortunate for him.
And he does goal kick, but he is one of the worst goal kickers I've seen.
He's not good. Terrell May, 44, had reduced minutes this game. Jared Weir-Hardgrave started and played well. It was his 300th game. I didn't expect JWH to be taken off, especially when they were pumping. Like, just keep Jared out there for his milestone game. But the huge talking point is he went up a tunnel, clutching at a calf, and he went off in the 77th minute. So I don't expect that to be a rotation. But there's some reports getting around there was no ice on the back of his calf. So hopefully it's just, it was like a serious cramp or some kind of cork. But if May's out, man, front row forward is going to get really, really dire.
Xavier Willison, Liam Henry.
It's going to be
1 and 2.
It's going to be grim. And Satili Tupanua, I don't know about you. He's in my team. He scored a 40 with a break even of 34. So I'm going to count all that profit, and he's punted next week for the Bunnies.
You can't trade out everyone next week. You've said that about 3 players so far.
Oh, I know. Ian Johnson says, I had a cork for mate. I mean, I would love that. I need him desperately. I'm going to start. There's a couple of comments in the chat asking for trades. So I will star those and we will come back to them because we do like to do it at the end. For the Rabbitohs, Keon Kolomatangi with a 98. Jacob Hoss scored, which is grim. He scored a 69. Nice. Cam Murray with a 58. Not much to talk about elsewhere. Latrell Mitchell. Let's talk him because I brought him in. I brought him in for Kalen Ponga, and not good.
You know what? The logic, like, you went through all your logic with it. You like Latrell's matchups, going back to a Ponga or something after he loses some money. Yeah, great. Like, all the logic was there, but we also didn't think the Rabbitohs would get beaten by, 40 odd?
Nearly 50. No, I mean, I also looked at the matchup next week. I'm like, oh, he plays the Dogs. He's going to score 3,000 points. But the Dogs just posted a shutout. So now I'm like, oh, shit, this is not looking good. So, definitely worry street. No Supercoach relevance, but I think Jack Whiten was the Bunnies' best player. I thought he went looking for the ball really well. I think he was like second in hit-ups. Looked solid enough in defense for his first game. I think those combinations will improve, but definitely some worrying signs. And I see an S. Kepi here with a 32 next to his name. That's got to be a misprint, surely.
Yeah, surely. The cappuccino, he looked like he was everywhere, I reckon. Shout out to somebody that I started twice due to having Adam Reynolds in a few leagues. Dean Hawkins in draft this week. That was a bit of a Spuds and Young move from me.
Yeah, Fisher says it made sense at the time. We wanted to know the Rabbitohs could be no-shows. I think that's exactly. Also, unlucky to the 5,811 people that bought in Dave Moali off the back of his start. He got a 10-pointer. And Saliva Havili, I know a few people brought him in. Over 1,000 people brought him in, named it hooker to start the game as well, and he got a 10-pointer. So grim stuff. Grim trade-ins this week from everyone, including myself. The Doggies, 32 against 2024 Wooden Spooners, the Gold Coast Titans. Jacob Corraz, 115. Is he back?
I mean, you're not going to play the Titans every week, and the Dogs probably aren't going to play a team that's worse than them any other week.
I don't know. They play South next week.
Yeah, true. They might go all right. I don't know. Like, I loved watching Corraz in full flight in this one, but yeah, I can't expect that every week. I expect him to sort of go back to those sort of 50 and 60s pretty quickly.
What's more concerning for you? The fact that the Dogs scored 32 points, the fact that the Titans scored none, or the fact that Reid Marnie scored 96 Supercoach points? For me, that's the biggest concern.
Yeah, actually. All he had to do was pass it one out. All he had to do was pass it one out, though. The Titans' defense was missing. They were horrible.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Fisher, yes, Carraz was everywhere, just doing everything, offloading, tackle busting, all the great stuff that he's, usually there for. Connor Tracy, kick out. Both these guys scored 80s. Great for them. Josh Curran, 52. Now he was dudded. Matt Burton shafted him. This should be a 67. This should be a 69 pointer because he had a try that was disallowed, which was devastating. But great again when he came on, PPM monster. He will get front row forward duel by the sounds of it, which we love to hear. He will be the savior. I don't really see a reason to trade him out. I know that I'll make no money from him, but he'll get to 550k, and I will just hold him until something pops up because front row forward's getting very grim.
Yeah.
Sam Hughes, what a fraud. Phil Gould has stitched us up hard here.
Absolutely. Like Liam Knight. You know what? Liam Knight was in my early teams, but yeah, look, Sam Hughes, I think we can put a line through him. I think I'll actually I don't think he's worth a trade out though either. Like I think he's just going to marinate in my front row.
He's just front row forward
for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no. For the Titans, not a huge amount of Supercoach points here. I mean, I love trading out Botham, and I bought in Zach Laybart, who got me a 26 and then a 0. So fucking love that. But no one owns any Titans players apart from T Fast or Malawi. Now, unfortunately for him, unfortunately for Titans fans, and unfortunately for Queensland fans, his season's done, which is heartbreaking because he is probably the best front row forward in Supercoach. And yeah, I mean, it's never fun to see a player's season end. So thoughts are with Tino, thoughts are with his recovery. Hopefully he can come back bigger and better next year. But I posted on Twitter today, Mattrix, that David Fafita has a player option in his contract. I don't see a world where that's accepted.
No, like, I mean, I still don't know where he's going to get another $1 million offer though. Like he's great, but like how many second row forwards are getting paid $1 million? But
surely there's some dodgy stuff that can happen here that like, he takes 800 and gets some things. Also, just want to quickly give a massive shout out to Gazaraki123 donating $5. Absolute champion. Apologies about Latrell Wisp. At least did you end up captaining Turbo? No, I went one better. I ended up VCing Cleary and then Laybart was out. So I was pretty much forced to take the loop. So there's some silver linings, but I don't really care about my team. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. More importantly, so you're a legend. But yeah, who
do you think benefits from Tino being out?
Someone asked me that on Twitter, and I said the Titans fans who don't have a season ticket pass because fuck watching this team play. This is going to be dreadful. Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, it's probably like Aaron Clark or like Chris Randall, because Chris Randall's playing a little bit of 13. Aaron Clark's playing thereabouts. I mean, Aaron Clark is 371k. He had a 45 break even, and he didn't hit that this week. So,
he got 49.
49. Yeah. So he'll go up, as much money as I've got in my pocket right now. So, I mean, he could be a guy to watch, honestly. Aaron Clark, if he's playing 13 and playing 50 minutes, he generally has an okay PPM. So, he's a guy definitely to chuck on the watch list and just watch for him next week before jumping on. Okay, sorry, I was just reading this before I put it out. Will Shaw, have you ever watched Planet FPL? Huge Planet FPL fan. Mattrix would not have watched. Yeah, I mean, James is elite at what he does. So we will take the feedback on board. Normally Will Brano runs this side of things. I've never logged into the master board until tonight. So I'm running the show at the moment, which, yeah, I mean, there's some teething issues, and we'll answer some questions. We'll do a designated Q&A as well. So, yeah, no stress. Next game of the round, Dragons 24, Cowboys 46. I thought the Dragons were going to win this. They were up, 16-0 after at one stage, but
and they look good.
Val Drinky, Robson, they all turned it on. But for the Dragons, Zach Lomax, 98 points. He's looking really good. For a guy that doesn't want to be there, I will commend Zach Lomax because he doesn't show it on the field. And then for Supercoach as well, 108, 44 last week. That was all in base. And then 98 again this week. He could be a top... How many center wings do we get? 7. He could be a top 7 center wing.
I agree with you. The concern is I'm going to be paying what, close to 700k for Zach Lomax in 2 weeks' time?
Yeah, it could be. I mean,
Like he's 630. He's going to go up
30
what,
with a
40 or
27 break even. Like he's going to go up 55, 60K. So yeah, he'll be pushing 700K, and it's going to get steep to pick him up. So, yeah, Ben Hunt 77, Carl Flanagan 71. Shout out if you had Carl Flanagan. I don't know why, but you're being rewarded. So congratulations. Jack DeBellin.
He's on the field. There's always a chance you score when you're on the field.
That is true. Jack DeBellin finally came good with some scores. I mean, he had a 4-point try contribution, and I'm sorry. Am I reading Jack DeBellin had 3 try assists? Oh no, that's tackles. TA's tackles. I was like, hang on, he had 36 points in try assists. What the hell? But it's looking like he had a fair bit in just base stats. So if Jack DeBellin's going to be pumping out 55, 60 points in base, we saw what he did last year. He's 582K. There's worse ways to spend your money at front row forward with how dire it is as well. But for the Dragons, not a whole lot other, form of relevance apart from Viliami Fafita, 9 points. AA hero. We love him.
Thanks. You know what? I watched this game and I did not have any Supercoach players except for Viliami Fafita in this one. It was a real rip snorter as they score about 75 points out there.
I had one, and he was ruled out with an hour to go before kickoff, and that just threw me for 6. So, injury news out of this game: Zach Laybut has done an ankle. No idea on the severity. Just play it by ear, because if it's a couple of weeks, then not too bad. But Val Holmes 144. Now, shout out to anyone that brought Val Holmes in. I know that Fisher is in the chat saying, great week to buy Val Holmes. He's so glad he did. I'm very jealous because I know that the Nico Hines to Val Holmes was very popular this week. I think some people were spruiking it on social media and stroking their ego. So good for them, and good for you if you brought Val Holmes. He's looking like a stud. I mean, he's always a stud, but this year he's looking like a really just a great player. I mean, round 1 scored 108. Last week scored 54. This week scored 144. Like, center wings are going to go up and down. But when Val has the goal kicking in his system, same as Lomax, they're always going to have great flaws, and they're players that look for work, which really helps.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's going to be super hard to get him in now. Like, he's going to touch 800K in the centers, I think if you didn't get him this week, I think he's just priced out, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I get that. Drinky with 105. Now he was a weird one because his break even was sky high. It was 132, but the draw is good. But he was 851K. He fell into the same sort of board as KP. So if you held him, great. Obviously, I didn't think he was a good trading option. But Ian Johnson, he wants to highlight the next player on the radar, Reece Robson. He looks good. He can't wait to have Appy partnering Reece Robson next week. That's handy considering the way that Harry Grant's been playing, and Robson probably won't be an Origin consideration, and he doesn't have the buy until around 12. So you're going to get through pretty much unscathed. You're going to have 2 great playable hooker options for the next, 2 months. So, he was really great. Had 2 try assists or 3, a line break, and he's always in everything, playing 80 minutes. So he was great. Sam McIntyre, Tom Dearden, both with attacking stats with 70s. Finni Fuiaki. Now, a lot of people obviously brought him in because of the starting role and the price. Nearly 4,000 coaches at sub 300K. Now, there was huge fears, Mattrix, that he had done a facial fracture, the same as Reece Walsh, because there was a pretty heavy collision, in and around that eye socket area. But he was clear to that. It was just a HIA, off for 15 minutes. Only scored a 57. That was with a try and a line break. Are you running out of your way to pick him up, or are you still just letting this one go?
I think I'll just let this one slide through to the keeper. Like, by the time we roll through next week and he's gone up into the 300s, some blokes that you've been really high on, like your KPPs and some of those other mid-range price guys, I think I'm just a bit more excited about those guys. And I've been known to rag out on the Cowboys a little bit, being a Broncos fan and us being considered rivals. But yes, the Cowboys are 3-0. They haven't lost a game yet. But I'm not actually convinced I've seen them play a good opponent well yet.
Yeah, no, I haven't been convinced by the Cowboys. I think they've looked good in patches, but they've got to do it consistently. When the updates usually come in through the Sunday games, about midnight tonight, and then the game's unlocked at sort of 10:30 tomorrow. So yeah, you get an idea later tonight. Some bloke in the chat says, "Hi guys, is this an NRL fantasy podcast? What a sport! Always been a fantasy guy." And that comes from SC Brain. Yeah, we're big NRL fantasy fans on this show, and AFL too.
Love
you
it.
know what? Anything that's not NRL Supercoach, we're big fans of. So
Have I told you how good I went in NBL Supercoach this year?
yeah, much better than this shit show that we're running right now in Supercoach. Jamie Camilleri says, "I wish to shout out my fellow 576 Griffin Nemo owners, 61 points, stoked. I'm going to take full credit for Griffin Neem because I'm going to pat myself on the back here for the Griffin Neem shout because I saw another page promote Lolo and I wasn't keen on Lolo at all, so I was much happier to take Neem if I was taking a Cowboys front row forward. But Lolo is just playing this like autistic rotation, like no one knows what's happening. And
it's
all over the shop.
You can never own it.
No, it'll be like this for the rest of his career. It'll be 20, 20, 50, 50, 50, 20, 50, 20, 20. Like it's how he's feeling. It's the turnaround. And if the Cowboys are thumping teams, if you have Lolo, just kill him. Like kill him off. I posted on my socials that the last time Jason Tamalolo had gone under 20 points was round 11 of 2022. He's now done it twice in 3 weeks. So his knees are shot. He's shot. Just give it up. Give it up. Nothing else to really talk about for the Cowboys. Cotter with a 47. Looks like he has like a mild ankle sprain. If he's out, it'll be like 1 to 2 weeks. But his minutes are all over the shop as well. Peyton said in the pre-game interview that like he's going to be managed heavily, getting closer to Origin. So if you have Cotter round 9, round 10, I'd just be moving him on. Like his minutes are all over the shop as well. I don't think Peyton's got any idea what his rotation looks like. I think he just plays it sort of by ear. So got no interest. I had interest in Cotter, but I don't anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to touch anyone with those rotations. That's probably why we didn't touch Cotter at the start of the year too. We were waiting to see some consistency. It just hasn't come along.
So these two comments go hand in hand with each other. Brian says, "I'm feeling a double boost incoming," and then I think Joshua Baxter has replied, "I'd quad boost and have no boost left if I could." I was saying to Brano, because we're both FPL players, I'm waiting for my wild card to come in. I'm just waiting for when I get my wild card just to redo my entire team. So, yeah. Ian Johnson says, "Toby Green's on 109 points as my captain, still 16 minutes to go." I hate that because I'm not a Toby Green owner. I did captain Luke Jackson, though, for his 178 points, which was really, really nice. So, yeah, AFL's taking over my priorities. Good thing Brano's not on the show because Tigers
can I just
32.
leave you? Because this is about to be a not safe for work. This is about to be I've been in a chat with you and Brano. This is about to be a not safe for work podcast. I'll give you a moment.
Tigers 32, the Sharks 6 at Leichhardt, the home of footy, the 8th wonder of the world. Man, we looked good. It's nice. It's nice because we don't get this feeling very often. And Tigers fans carry on more than anyone in the world. And I know this, but we get 2 wins every 6 years. So just let us have it. We looked good. We looked really good. Appy Coruscant looked unreal. I have criticized Appy for just collecting a paycheck and going through the motions, but he played through sickness. He was really good. 2 try assists, best player at the park. Justin Olam looked really good as well in his first game for the Tigers, 84 points. Dream Buller, 81 points, absolute superstar. I take back, Mattrix, all the bad things that we said. So you weren't here last week, but Brano and I just slandered Alex Safe after about 15 minutes because he was shit. He started and was dog shit, but he was really good. He played like 30 minutes. He had like 16 hit-ups. He had like 15 tackles at a try. Looked unreal. But I'm seeing a grey now. I'm seeing like a grey box around L Galvin, which means I didn't play him for his 72.
Twinning.
What a stud.
Yeah, look, Galvin actually looked fantastic. Just led actually organized. Can I say how much better they looked with Caesar out there as well?
Yeah.
Like for the whole time instead. Like I've never been a massive
Caesar was great. Caesar was great, but like how does a halves combination with Caesar, Hines, and Trindle on the field, and none of them were the best player, and it was a child. Like a literal child was the best player, like the best halfback. Also, Gaza again, absolute champion. Can I just say, we are the one team every non-fan scream about when we do win, and we cop it when we lose. Yeah, look, the Tigers, we can't ever just win. Like, even when we won, there was still negative around like, oh, the team didn't know the team song. They've got paper. Haha. Tigers. And like, it's just whatever. Like, I don't know. But thank you so much for the money. Like, you don't need to super chat, but you know, we obviously appreciate it immensely. Mattrix, Christopher Maxfield says it smells like 2005. I'm getting the sense.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Sure.
No, look, it was great. I mean, Isaiah Papali'i 71, Stefano 67. Like, there was inflated minutes here because Alex Twal got injured. So like, I was looking at Fanua Bole, who pumped out 57 base power, dual position price like 420. But
yep,
yeah, with Twal out, it sort of does throw the minutes a bit, but just keep an eye out on it and see what happens. Fa'atape scored a 34. Do you see a world where he gets dropped? I mean, Brett Naden came back in New South Wales Cup, but he came off the bench. He got sent off. Oh, sorry, sin-binned. Like, I think Olam and Fa'atape could be like the combination, and he's bottom dollar as well.
I wouldn't. It just depends if they feel like Benji's new coach too. It just depends if they feel like they owe anything to Brett Naden. But Fa'atape looked good.
I'd owe him. Exactly. I'd owe him a cab voucher to the nearest train station to fuck off. But that's all I'm owing him. I just don't.
Yeah,
it's a new coach. We're gonna suck. I've said this all the time. Like, we're gonna suck. Why don't we suck with young players and just develop them? So I don't know. Fa'atape could be great. I mean, he only scored a 38, but he's bottom dollar. And if you needed a way to jump off, you know, Gagai, or you've got a 2-way picky that you can like downgrade 100K from, then you know that could be unreal. So Fa'atape, I gotta watch out for TLT. For the Sharks, though, mate, like, what's going on?
Touch on Fainu, Samuel Fainu.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't really touch on.
What do you think? Do you think he's an option?
He was great last week. Didn't play huge minutes this week. I mean, he played okay, but like didn't have the production. He's 263K with a minus 26 break even. I expect that break even to drop to, say, like a minus 46. You might get like 3 or 4 weeks of price rises out of him, and then you have to trade him in. But like, I don't know. You got Finya Filiaki, who's 30K more, who is, you know, probably more lock for minutes and probably more attacking upside. You've got KPP, who's probably going to be just a touch under 400, who looks like he's playing 80. I don't know. Like, yeah, he could be an option, but like, I'm like, when I do my buy, hold, and sell posts, he's probably not going to feature in my buy section. But if you bought him, I can't say no.
Yep. No, sounds good. Can I say, how does it end up between you and Brano that I'm the only one that has Appy Coruscant?
Yeah, no, we were spooky more free. I literally said Appy Coruscant is a must-have in the preseason, and then I just found a way to get Grant, and I was like, I'll just do that instead. So
I did the same with Piakura, so don't stress.
Yeah, Steezers. I'm not going to dodge your question, but there's plenty of Appy love, so we'll get to that at the end of the episode. Yeah, there's a lot of Appy love. Joshua Baxter says, "Welcome to the Appy show." Tigers played well, but no, I don't know, Timmy. Like, I think that's a little bit harsh to the Tigers. I thought the Tigers played exceptionally well. Like, yeah, the Sharks weren't great, but I don't think, like, even if the Sharks were good, that they were winning that game. The Tigers defended exceptionally. They ran the ball with intent. That's the first time I've seen the Tigers forwards in probably, I don't know, 15, 16 rounds actually like run with some intent. So I thought we played super, super well.
Like from a non-biased standpoint, the Tigers forwards dominated what I probably consider in the Sharks not a bad forward pack. Like, yeah, they dominated. Stefano was elite.
Yeah, Stefano was really, really good. And that's like the first time. Like, Stefano's been sort of really hit and miss for us a lot of the time. So it's really good to see that he, you know, played well. Mr. Callio says, no Magic Sponge podcast this week. My season is over. Yeah, so I'm obviously a Patreon backer to Brian, or the NRL physio, and I think he's away on holiday, and we were giving it to him in the chat that there was no Magic Sponge podcast. Yeah. But let's talk about the Sharks, because Tom Hazelton, I think he's really good. I think he was what we wanted Royce Hunt to be. Scored a try, but still pumped out, 60 points in base power. Has a 32 BE, so it's probably going to go up, 60K. So he's going to be 410, and that's probably too much for what I want to spend on a guy who inevitably is going to be coming off the bench and doesn't have the same impact as like a Terrell May. Brayley with a 68. Cool. You started with him or you don't buy him. Talakai 57. Mulatalo 56. Now you and many other owners were absolutely bailed out here because the fraud was on about 30 points with that 15 seconds to go. Got a junk line break, got like junk tackle busts. Man, he's a frustrating one, isn't he? Like he's frustrating for owners. He's frustrating for non-owners. He's hard to watch.
I bought him expecting an 18. So did I get bullied into going like a Metcalf or someone? I've been spruiking Metcalf and I haven't owned him, and I was like, no, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. And yes, was really happy with Metcalf, but I was able to go like a Gagai all the way up to Mulatalo. So I'm happy. I got good points. I'm going to make good money. But like, I don't know if Mulatalo could be a trade out in 2 weeks again. Like, that's the way Ronnie is.
Yeah. I mean, if you said to owners, hey, Mulatalo's going to score you 60 points, but the Sharks are only going to get 6, you'd take that. Like, you'd take that every day of the week. But let's have a discussion about one N Hines, because 53 on the weekends. Round 1 scored a 26. Last week scored a 75. Like, what are we doing here? Are we just holding until it comes good? Are we just cutting our losses? Because Mitch Moses has now picked up the kicking again. Metcalf looks good. Brooks obviously looks good. Like, what are we doing with Hines?
Look, I know you're a bit younger, but have you heard the song White Flag by Dido?
You said this to me in the chat. You expect me not to know who Dido was? And I was quite offended. I was like, what do you mean? Do I not know who Dido is? Like,
I also called you 12.
My mum is like 48 and a middle-aged white woman. Of course I know who Dido is.
Yeah, no, I think I'm just going to go down with the ship, and
Yeah.
I'm maybe just going to be scared of captaining him in the future. Like, if I can't captain him against the Tigers and get results, I don't know what I can do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best matchup that you can get. I mean, if we're not scoring points against the Tigers, or we're not scoring, even against the Bulldogs last week, like they put on 30 or 28 points, whatever it was, and he only scored 72. And yeah, I just think like it was a case of if you didn't sell, we just stick this out, because I don't know, like how long do they persist with this like Trindle combination? Like you got Cade Dykes there. I mean, Matt Moylan's only a phone call away. Surely we can get him back on the plane. Like for Supercoach purposes, please bring him back.
Isn't he playing in England?
Yeah, mate, I'll take him back. Ian Johnson. This is something I'm considering. Like, I'm not locked into it, but like, I'm definitely looking at Hines to Moses, because he's now goal kicking again, and decent draw. So Moses is a guy that I'm considering as well. And Chris says he can't do much worse in terms of Hines. I agree. Surely he can only go up from here. But for the Sharks, not much else to talk about here. Braden Trindle scored 11 points, so shout out to him.
10% owned too for 11 points.
202 people brought him in this week.
Well, they were playing the Tigers. I don't know. It's hard. Like, I'm joking that if you can't back Nico against the Tigers were really good. I don't think this was... Like, when I talk about the Cowboys or whatever, and I talk about teams that have played really bad, great. But I don't think the Sharks were that bad in this game. I think the Tigers were really good, and it took me by surprise.
Yeah. Mr. Callio says Hines to Wishart. That's something I can get behind. I mean, Wishart just pumped out 92, so shout out to him. Yeah, so this was the main thing. Like last week, Agent Cheese, for any audio listeners, says the problem was this week he just didn't pass the eye test. Whereas like last week, I was like fine, because I was like, he scored 72, looked really good, looked really involved. But like when the game got tough, it's just like he didn't want to get involved. And it feels like he's sort of a flat track bully, where he will happily just get on top and dominate you when the Sharks are doing well. And if the Sharks aren't laying that platform, then what happens with Nico and Trindle and Kennedy? Like, yeah, I think Trindle is hurting Hines, but I think Kennedy's a cancer on the attack as well. Like I've said this from day one. Yep. So Will Shaw said I'm old.
Kennedy just doesn't pass.
Yeah, I'm a child.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up.
I'm 26. I'm young.
I called him 12 in the chat, Will, and he got so offended.
Because I sound like a 12-year-old. I literally sound like Ellen DeGeneres. Rowan said no vibes for Hines. Yeah, no vibes this week at all. No. Eels 28. What are they called? The Seagulls 24. Mitch Moses 109 points. Is he back?
Yeah. He looked great, and like
Right,
it's
I
not
got
like one of
16
those.
games. So
But
like I
it's
do
not
my
like.
buy. You go.
Go on.
No, I was just gonna say
Sorry,
I do
it's
my
not.
I do my buy, hold, and sell posts like every Wednesday, and like I had Moses as a hold, and I got rinsed. People were rinsing me for holding Moses, but like I just thought if he didn't sell last week, his groin is going to get better, and he's going to start kicking again, and he's going to look really good. And he did. He did 3 tries, just back goal kicking. Eels are good.
And it's not like one of those situations really where like they've played a team and they've just scored 45 and he scores 100. Like they played a really good Sea Eagles team. Yes, the Eels attack was good. Yes, their defense let go at times, but it was great, and that's what you want from Supercoach, a high-octane attack, and Mitchell Moses was the catalyst. I see Dylan Brown doing less, Mitchell Moses doing more, even with the risk of a groin injury. I don't know. I jumped off Dillbags this week, so maybe I'm not the right guy to ask, but Moses, I can probably get around.
Yeah, no, I'm keen. Especially any halfback that makes Kuma Tuilagi look really good is someone that I want in my Supercoach team because they can make anyone look good. Then, if that's the case, Steezers, he did. He picked it up at the end. I think he kicked the last 2, or like the second or the last one, which says to me that he's fine. He's fine to kick, and he's doing a lot of general kicking, racking up kick meters. So, yeah, he kicked the last one. He might kick the second last one as well. So he's picked it back up, and I'm really keen for that. And yeah, playing the Tigers next week, which I think it's at Combank as well, which, you know, there's points galore there. Blaze Talangi with a 66, Junior Barlow with a 61, but not much else. Like the points were quite spread here. Dylan Brown with a 52, but I think if who was the left-sided winger? I can't remember. I need to know this now. The left-sided winger, I think it may have been someone. They were out of position for a pretty easy try. So on another day, Brown could have had like 75, 80 points. But the concerning thing for Brown is, I was saying this to you before, like the problem with him is he would score 52 last year doing nothing. Like he'd walk onto the field and get 52. Whereas this year it's like he got 2 try assists last week and got 60. This week he got a try assist and a line break assist and got 52. And it's like you sold. So I guess maybe you talk about why you decided to sell.
Because I was peer pressured into Metcalf. No, no, I just saw him and I was watching him play, and he does seem to do the things that I love from Dillbags. Like he makes try-saving tackles left, right, and center. Like he's really good. He seems involved, but he seems to be 1 or 2 passes away from the tries all the time, and he gets people in the right positions and doesn't seem to get rewarded in Supercoach. I always saw him as a really Supercoach friendly guy, but I haven't really seen that this year. And maybe I even got Metcalf hoping that Dillbags drops and that I can go back and get Dillbags when the Eels start cooking. But the Eels were cooking today and Dillbags still got a 52.
Yeah.
It's just not enough for me for an 800k guy. And I know that I just Captain Hines and got exactly the same, but I'm also saying that's a mistake.
No, I get that. And like, do you think it's got anything to do with the fact that Lane sucks? Like Sean Lane has been terrible. From a Supercoach standpoint, 41 in round 1, 62 last week with a try and a line break, and 35 this week. Like he's a guy that I'm looking at moving on soon.
He's
Probably
not for me.
Probably once that 62 falls out of the average. Like I don't know, like all these mid range, and someone said it before. I pinned the comment and I'll come back to it. But like all these mid range 2RFs are just mid. They just are.
But if he's like if Sean Lane is my 5th best second row forward at the end of the year, and you can go him on matchup again when Dillbags starts cooking. If Dillbags is cooking, Lane's going to be cooking. I think that is a direct correlation.
But like, what are we doing? Like, how long are we like holding this facade for? Because if we're gonna like wave the white flag with Hines and just keep holding him, like the draw does open up: Tigers, Raiders, Cowboys, Dolphins, Manly, and then you know you do have pretty much you've got no buys up until round 14, so you're always gonna have 2 numbers there. But like, yeah, he's just not looking good. And Joey Lussick, the biggest fraud of all time. Round 1, 61. Round 2, 81. And then we'll buy him and he pumps out a 32. But he nearly scored twice, and he's always looking for a try, which I guess is somewhat promising.
Yeah, look, I think when you get this out of cash cows, that's why they're a cash cow. There's a reason he was 300K for starters.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. On the Manly side of things, Morgan Garrick, Ruben Garrick makes us look like mugs because we were not keen on him at all. But he scored 100 in round 1, a 95 in this round, and a 54. Like, he's just a less cool Valentine Holmes, but he's still pumping out great scores, and they're going left. Turbo with a 79. Now, this is frustrating because obviously one of the most captain players this week had that bullshit bullshit try assist line break ruled back. He gets that. That's another 22 points. He's, over 100. But, like, man, Turbo looks like, and I know people are going to get sick of me saying this by like around 7 when he's not getting points, but I'm like, Turbo is just looking like he's going to explode and just rip someone apart.
And at least he's scoring an 80 when they lose, when we're disappointed in him. Like, it's not like he's banging out a 50 and we're disappointed in him. Look, I'll take 80 from Turbo every day of the week. But yeah, he does look like you're shaking the Pepsi bottle with the Mentos in it.
Yeah, I think Will Shaw makes a good point. He says most backlines look clunky at the moment. I was actually chatting with Brano about this, and next year maybe I just captain Payne Haas for the first month. Maybe I just take a 70 points until shit works itself out. But I don't know. Levi almost outscored Lussick this week. Wasn't worth the trade from Lussick to Levi. Levi would go up 50K, Lussick would go up 70K. However, 70K to go to Lussick to Levi. No, I don't agree because Lussick's still going to have 2 good scores in his rolling average, and he will have much more cash generation. Like, I think the difference between these two will be chalk and cheese. I think this was just a bad game from Lussick. He had 2 or 3 chances to score, and if he does score, we don't have this conversation. So I think Lussick is still a much better option than Levi. So yeah. Let's talk about Ben Trbojevic because I'm worrying that he's going to lose his job to Corey Waddell.
I just completely lost that because my AirPods just connected to whatever my wife was watching. I think it was Kim's Convenience. So I'm back.
That's probably more exciting than talking about Ben Trebojevic's job prospects.
Oh, yeah, no, I think he's lost it.
Yeah, so I don't think he's lost it, but I think like he could be getting reduced. He could be getting Josh Giddey, where he's just like slowly phased out of the rotation and then he's done. So Ben Trbojevic also on fraud watch for me.
Oh, I thought he wasn't allowed within 500 meters of high school, but carry on.
Oh, goodness me. Apart from that, no one from Manly. I mean, for a side that scored 24 points, no one really impressed. I mean, even like the strike backs, like Hammer Olakawatu, 51 points. Luke Brooks, if I watched this game without the scores, I would have thought Luke Brooks scored 110. Like, he was in everything, and he scored 50. Like, what happened to the scoring this round?
That's 5/8 at the moment, and he still hasn't priced himself out if you want to jump on. Like, what's he going to go up to 600K? Still an option.
So Agent Cheese says Kim Convenience or Burbo. He's going to choose Kim Convenience, which I think is fair. Kim Convenience would be much more enjoyable than 21 of the shittest points you'll ever see from Ben Trbojevic. We all got sucked in by that round 1 try. So, his prospects are done. He's not a playable option in my team moving forward. But then again, not many people are at the moment. The Knights 14 getting over the Storm 12, which was the last leg of our Insight multi, which yours truly picked the Storm, and I bombed that multi. I am so sorry.
I'll just take it from now if you want.
Yeah, just put on shitty same game multis that something like that.
I turned like $30 into a grand this weekend.
I know you got a heater this week. Oh, that's concerning. That's concerning. Will Shaw says Schuster had a try assist and a TA for Blacktown today. Hadn't missed a tackle in 2 weeks. I also thought he was dog shit last week, wasn't he? He was not good last week from what I read. So I think it's Corey Waddell's spot. I think Corey Waddell is like the perfect edge player to run that left-hand side because you don't want too many cooks in the kitchen. You don't want ball playing Schuster, ball playing Brooks, and ball playing Turbo on the left. I think that's too many options.
Blacktown did pump whoever they played as well. Like, it was like a 44-20 matchup. I was listening to it on Around the Grounds. So
love that. The Knights 14, Storm 12. Gagai top scored 84, Anari Twala 77, and Kalen Ponga 76. Now, For anyone that's not in
Take
the
it.
loop, I have a Callum Ponga curse. He averages 34 when I go watch him live. I bought tickets to this game, but didn't end up going. Some stuff happened on my end. I couldn't go. So, of course, he delivers, and he delivers well for owners. Not amazing, but much better than Latrell Mitchell, who I sold for. But I'm keen on KPP. You know, I think this is what he's going to be. Is Mattrix. I think he's a high upside player. And he's going to go through swings. I mean, he scored 43 in 40 minutes in round 1. He scored 43 in 80 minutes last week, and now he just scored 65 with a line break assist. I take that out, still 57. So, what do we think on KPP at probably sub 400k?
When they moved Frizzell in,
Yeah, and then Lucas
in
to
that,
the right.
yeah,
locked in.
where as soon as I saw that happen, I'm like, Kai Pearce-Paul's in for me next week. Spoiler alert, I just can't look past that. And looks great. Like, looks like somebody that if I was out on the footy field, I'd be looking for him. Because, yeah, in the right spots, I think that he could be a 500 or 600k guy in 10 weeks.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm also all in. I have a Shatili Tupanua there, sitting there waiting. So he'll be moved on for probably KPP. And people are making good points in the chat. Burbo is playing the Dragons next week. I just don't know. If he's not playing 80, I'm not keen. But we'll see. We'll see. Not much else to talk about from the Knights. Adam Elliott, after the highs of his 100-point performance last week, scored a 43.
That's him, though. Like,
yeah,
really?
Yeah. I don't know. 5 people traded him out. 5 people saw the 112 last week and the -3 break even and said, you know what? I'm all right.
It's a no from me, dog.
It's a no from me, dog. I'm sweet. Apart from that, I don't think this myth of Cogger, like fixing the attack, I don't think anything really changed. So, yeah, also, Aaron Cadman has a shot on goal after the siren, who's in my Supercoach team. So we're going to be sweating this one. Hopefully he kicks it. For the Storm, though, Tyrant Wishart, is he the halfback one moving forward?
No, he's not. But
He's
you know what? Hughes will be back.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Pappenhausen, 76 from him, looked great. If that wasn't for this buy, like he'd be in. I need him, but I just don't know when to get him. Maybe it's like round 7 once Latrell's on the buy, but yeah, I don't know. Thank you for starring a few of these questions because I haven't been paying attention.
No,
Meany 75, Trent Liero with a 69. He's just up and down. Harry Grant 63.
Good.
I'm waiting for Nas to come back. I think Nas is going to be huge for them.
I mean, I think if you're a Harry Grant owner with the draw that they've had, with him maybe only dropping 50k, I'd take that. Like, I like that from Harry Grant. I was hoping for a 20 from Harry Grant, to be honest, as Nappy owner. But and it was looking god awful there for a while. But
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's good for Harry.
If this is the worst of Harry Grant, 49, 61, 69, or 63, sorry, like I'll take that. Like we said this in the preseason, like the first 5 weeks for Harry Grant are not going to be fun, but it's what you get for him moving forward. So, yeah, no one else to really talk about here. Sean Blaw, not good at football.
I think he's probably just going to drop back out when Chan's back.
No, when Chan comes back, it'll be round 5 because of the bye next week. But yeah, like I'm not concerned about Sean Blaw taking security off Chan. I know they were missing Hughes and Munster and stuff, but it's also not a good sign when you win the first 2 games. You know, Chan comes out and they lose the next 2. Blaw also didn't play 80 minutes, and Kane Bradley was playing in the centres, which I think was a telling sign as well. Yeah. People in the chat here, Radio Buckley says, Nas coming back, great draw. I'm all aboard Grant still. So am I. Like, there was a lot of chat online about Grant, and I just couldn't understand it because, like, for me, nothing had changed. All preseason, we said the first 5 weeks are going to suck for Grant, and then it's going to get better. I'm not throwing out 4 or 5 years of data of what he does. He's a historic 80-point average for 5 bad games.
And can I ask you a question? And maybe as a Tigers fan, you're going to be a bit biased, but I always got Appy trying to get to Harry Grant, hoping that he could drop, say, 80k. Maybe
I think
Appy with the goal kicking could be close.
I think that's changed. I think your aim should be Appy and Grant.
Yeah.
So I think if you don't own Grant, I think like the goal should be to get him and Appy, because you want Grant and then you want Appy for cover during Origin. I mean, in saying that, Appy could play himself into an Origin spot, so you could be fucked. But the beauty of this is like we're so reliant on Appy that he will probably play through Origin. And also, you don't need, in rounds 13, 16, and 19, you don't need a full squad. Like, you don't need a hooker playing. You just need 13 players. So it doesn't matter where you get them from. So I think the goal should be to get to Appy and Grant. But that's going to wrap up the recap. We've got a couple of questions starred. And if you guys put your questions in the chat, we will answer them. Try not to just ask, should I trade X player for Y player? Because it's very subjective to your teams. And obviously, we can't see them. So, yeah, like questions like this. What about the Robson or Appy pairing? And I think Robson could be a great alternate to Grant until Origin. Like, I want Grant for the run home. Like, I want Grant to finish the season. Robson's appeal is the fact he has no bye until round 12.
What do you do when, like, did Robson get named on the bench last year? What do you do when Appy gets named to start and Robson gets named on the bench too?
Surely Cook's there or thereabouts. Like, I don't see Cook dropping out of the squad completely. I know they've been dog
He's on
shit.
the bench on he's on the bench in his club team, man.
You're not even the best hooker in South Sydney.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll scroll back and answer a couple of these questions that got pinned at the start. Ian, Tina ACL. There's no premium front row forwards. It could just be Terrell May and Liam Henry. I mean, it could be. I think maybe we misread the Flegler situation on how reliant they are on him. But I mean, front row forward is just grim. Like, it just is. Like, the stats I'm going to give you don't include this round because we haven't faced lockout. But if we look at like total points, AFB scored 220 points in 3 weeks, and that's for 2 tries. And then Flegler is like the next best scorer at 127. I mean, Josh Kerr's thereabouts as well. Like, he's 350k. Cotter's minutes are 2 up and down. I don't know. And then you get into like some gross names like Junior Bolo and Paseka and Leo Thompson. Like,
to answer IJ's question, what he's saying in Terrell May and Liam Henry is exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah, 100%. And that could be the play.
That's just like, you know what? I don't want to waste another trade in front row forward for like 5 weeks. Like, if I just play Liam Henry and was it Fisher Harris is out for a bit and he's punching out 40s, 50s, that's enough for me. Front row forward.
Yeah. If front row forward 2 is getting you 40 points, fine. Mr. Callio says should be start playing Galvin, and I think with his base. I mean, Justin P says it as well. Like, with his base, like, he's better than Burr. I don't mind the Galvin play. I think he makes a lot of tackles. He likes to run. Obviously, he can find the attacking stat with that link up with Buller on the left hand side. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I rate it.
Smithies, Lane, or Fermor for the first trade outs. That's interesting because they all suck. Fermor probably sucks the least.
Who does?
Fermor probably sucks the least.
Yeah, but he's also on the worst team. I think
but he still scored 50.
Probably Fermor.
He scored 56 in a side that got fucking thumped.
Yeah. I still think it's Fermor. Like, you've got Fafita coming back. You've got Smithies with, like, another 1-2 weeks max of cash generations. And Lane is also always a risk of a try. Have a look at who Lane's playing next week. Like,
yeah, they're playing the Tigers. I know that.
Be Fermor.
I don't know. I think maybe Smith. Like, if you're not looking at cash gen, probably Smithies. I just think he's got the lowest ceiling. Like, Fermor,
he's the worst player.
He can still find the line. Christopher Maxfield. All of these mid-price 2RFs from the last year are mid. They are. We were looking at like the golden generation of like. So, it's a long scroll because there's been plenty of posts I've made, but like there was a post put up of like the golden 6 that we had, and like when Team Picker first opened, there was so many of these options, and we were all like frothing over them. But it might just be the best guys. I mean, we looked at Sean Lane, Josh Curran. So Josh Curran's a success. Tupanua sucks. Fermor is fine. Kikau he's just 2 up and down. And Pia Cora. Like, Pia Cora is good. So we've got, out of these like good mid-range 2RFs, we've got like 2 good ones.
Yep. Great.
Yeah, Will asks, did we go Mulatalo to Val? I don't know. Probably not.
Not just yet. No.
Like, you bought Mulatalo for a reason. I wouldn't be selling after 1 week. If you want Val.
And it's cash gen.
Yeah, if you want Val, find another way. because Mullis Harlow has the buy in round 5, which is probably a fine sell-off point. So Will again, underperforming guns to hold or sell. So who are the underperforming guns? Hines,
Ponga.
Ponga. I wouldn't say Troll's underperforming. He had one bad game. Turbo. I think we've got to put Turbo in there. Like he's not. He had an 80, a 50, and a 70. Like it's not elite Turbo, but he's a hold. Drinkwater's a hold. Who else is underperforming? Would you say Cleary's underperforming, or is the 120?
I mean, he's still losing money. Like he's still got 120 and is losing money. So yeah, Sean Johnson, people considered him a gun. He's losing money, and Harry Grant probably for me.
So let's start top to toe. Grant, I'm not trading out. I've said that. SJ, I would be concerned about. I would be concerned about SJ because I think with the Metcalf involvement, RTS at fullback, Chan's back there as well. Like I think there's going to be less final touches for him. Rocco Berry's also playing great footy. He's playing a little bit of playmaking as well. Hines is the big one. I think if you said to me you're selling Hines for Moses, I wouldn't rebuttal on that.
Yeah, I'm probably the same. But in saying that, I think I am going to Dido it.
Oh, I probably will too. But it's definitely something to consider. And then we look at KP. So plays the Warriors next week, and then the Dragons, then the Roosters, but then it gets really good. The Dogs, the Dolphins, the Warriors, the Tigers, the Titans, by Bulldogs. So I feel like if you didn't sell KP this week, you just hold strong.
Yep, 100%. Do you consider the Tigers a bad matchup for the Eels next week? Or a good matchup? Or you roll the dice. I'm not captaining.
We conceded 30 to the Raiders. Like, yeah, I mean we had one good game, but like let's take the Tigers for what they are. I think the Tigers are a 12th place team. That's where I had them in the preseason. That's where I still have them now. I think they're a very fine, not bottom of the barrel team, but not finals. So base them off what you'd base. I would project the Tigers as to what you projected the Titans to be before they sucked.
Yep, cool.
I think that's probably where you peg them. What other questions have we had started? There's a few of them to get through. What do we do as a Burbo? Like, doing nothing of late? Like, he's still going to have a minus break even. I wouldn't be trading him until his job's over. Like, he's fine to just sit on the bench, I think. But in saying that, if you have Burbo as a playable option and you're benching Salmon, I'd be playing Salmon over Burbo now.
Yep. No, I'm with you. I'm going to be starting to play Salmon. And Salmon's been bad too. Like, I'm trying to find a way to get out Salmon and trying to find a way to get out Burbo.
He's pumping at 40s. It's like, fuck, I can't really trade you.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you're like saying, oh, I'm so off Shatilli. He's pumping up 40s too. Like that's
but he's also 400k. He's not 315k like Salmon is.
Yeah, but if Salmon keeps bumping out 40s, he's going to be 400k too.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about right now. Like I can get KPP for Shatilli, and I think KPP is just a better prospect right now.
KPP is where we're going.
So Hines to who? Yeah, we've already. I think Moses is probably the most logical answer.
The only?
Yeah, the only answer. Or Hunt. I mean, yeah. No. Do you like Ben Hunt, or are you not keen?
I like Ben Hunt. I just don't like him for Supercoach. And I don't like the Dragons for Supercoach. Like, how can you ever back the Dragons?
They've got Manly at win, Knights, Tigers,
it
Warriors.
It doesn't matter. You don't know what Dragons are going to turn up. Whether
I don't know, man. Like I feel like they're just scoring points but can't defend. And if Hunt's like in the Hunt could have had 100 points on the weekend because there was a bomb try from one of his kicks as well. So I don't hate. I mean, Moses. I have Moses much higher than Hunt.
Yeah.
But I don't hate Hunt. Someone tell Sanks we need 2 boosts this week. 2. Fuck man, I'd use all 4. I'd use the 4 I got left. I'd use the 4 I got left just to fix this fucking monstrosity of a team up that I've got. Steezer, are we all trading to Appy? Fuck. Supercoach works so funny, doesn't it? Like last week it was you have to have Lussick. Lussick is a must-have. And now everyone's like, Appy is a must-have. Fuck Lussick.
I mean, Appy's not going to do that every week, but I think that Appy can average 60.
He did in round 1 too.
He can average 65. 60 to 65. Yes.
In my big brain projections, I had Appy at like a 68 with the goal kicking.
Yep.
So
Great.
I think, like I said, Appy and Grant is probably the target to get moving forward. Agent Cheese, long-time contributor, thinking of just using the second halfback as a cash generator for now. Oh, fuck.
Drew
I don't
Hutchinson.
know. Like, yeah, I've seen some people like move Drew up there. I still think there's good scoring to have from halfbacks. We saw Moses score 100. We saw Hines score 45 doing nothing. Like,
Yep.
halfbacks can still score points. I mean, the good halfbacks can anyway. I don't know about the shit ones. So, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't do that. I still think that, like, 2 hooker, 2 fullback is the way to go. Sorry, 2 halfback, 2 hooker is the way to go. But, oh my goodness, 2 halfback, 2 5'8" is the way to go. But that's just me. So going back to Hines, Chris Petrovsky says he's trying to do too much. Plus, Nikoro was suspended. I think Nikoro was a huge out. Nikoro was a massive out for them.
I forgot about that. Despite having him in draft and had to play. I think I had to play Lane instead. But
he's out next week as well, which is a big thing.
Yeah, that's a concern. We're going to probably see more. Like, if you got off Hines, like, tell me that there's not a world where you're just going to buy Hines in a few weeks' time. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's tough. Like, Moses' dud score will roll out of his average pretty quickly. He'll have the 100 in there for a couple of weeks. Like, you could buy Moses and, like, because Moses still had like 120 break even, so he's still going to lose money. You could jump off Hines, jump onto Moses and try and flip them. But, like, then it's just like, if you're also playing fullback roulette and then you got Hines to consider and you got, dumpster fire for forward to put out, like, it adds up. So I think Hines to Moses would be a very selective trade if you have nothing else going on. Yeah. Who we sell Lolo to? Fuck, he's gonna be like 380k. There's Tom Hazelton,
May, Henry, Willison.
May is a priority, but like, fuck, he might be getting out of reach. Flegler hasn't gone up in price, so if you have like, fuck, I don't know, 70k in the bank, nah. Hang on, what's Lolo going to lose?
Lolo's dropped money. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, he's gonna lose bulk. So hang on, let me type LOLO.
You do that. I just think maybe a Lolo downgrade.
Bro,
like, I didn't consider Lolo to be someone massive.
His break even was 65 and he scored a fucking 12.
Yeah, he lost 50k. So he's
going to be like 380k. Holy shit.
Yeah, Willison then.
Yeah, if you have 100k, you get to Flegler or Willison. Fucking hell.
You get 6 weeks of Willison. 4 weeks of Willison.
Yeah, but like,
Willison will stay there. Tapau will be gone after Haas comes back.
He's so shit.
Yeah.
He's so bad.
Well, he'll be suspended, won't he? Didn't he have that little high kick?
Bro, he's a grub. Like, honestly, like, was he playing for the Broncos when he like slid tackle into someone's back of their head and busted them open like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think he was.
And everyone was like, oh, no, it was an accident. But I was like profusely being like, no, he is a grub. And then he did it to Campbell Graham like last year. He did it again. He's just a fucking grub. All right, enough of my money to Power Slander. Mustard Custard. Lolo to who? Oh, we'd answered that. Sorry, I should have proofread this. Literally anyone else. Henry, Willison, if you had the cash, Flegler.
Yep.
All right. I can get behind this. Do you know why? Because he was in my team at the preseason before he was suspended. I don't hate it.
Dom Young was in mine too, but sure.
I don't hate this. I couldn't do it, but I don't hate it. Is Sivo a buy from Ian Johnson?
He's like, if his break even gets as bad as good, as Mulatalo or something, that's when I jump on. And that could very well happen, but I'm not sure I'm buying Sivo in today's world.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't sit here and poo-poo it because he was in my team before he got suspended. I was like, fuck it, I'll take a centering pod and we'll take Sivo. But, I mean, mate, if you bought him, like I said, I couldn't say no. So right now, who is the bigger issue? Brown or Hines from Agent Cheese? And I'm going to say Hines.
I think still Hines. I don't actually think that there's a massive issue. They haven't played that well so far. Like, nobody could have foresaw what happened with the Sharks and the Tigers this week. I think that they're both still plays. Like, if you're wasting trades to go Hines to Moses and back to Hines to save yourself 150k, you start to work out what are the value of your trades. I'm not convinced. I just went Brown out because I considered some of these other guys better options. I don't see an option to go for Hines, except for maybe Moses, but he's
Moses
still
is the
got that.
only one.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't have Cleary, I wouldn't be buying Cleary either, because he has a buy in round 6. So like, if you don't, like Moses is the only one. Cameron Brady, g'day lads. Trades Cleary, Teddy, and KVP in last week. Oh, sorry. So you traded them in last week. Great trades for Moses, Frinky, Lukey. I think this is this you just flexing? I think this is you just flexing.
That's not a question, but you I'll follow your podcast next week.
Props to you. Did you start any more questions? There's a heap to come through.
I was sort of scrolled up looking at the other ones to come through. You go, Stefan. This is for you.
I mean, these guys have been asking questions about their mates all streams. I haven't really been acknowledging them, but sure, whatever. Do we need to trade if nothing stands out and garner more data? 100%. 100%. Like, this isn't, you don't need to trade. Like, I want people to remember that you don't have to trade. I'm only trading out Satili because he's peaked. He'll have a higher break even than what he'll score. I can get a KPP for a much better ceiling. And then I'll probably also just look at fixing up Laybud if he's out for the long term. And for a forward, I might be boosting just to fix up fires, but I'm not trading for the sake of trading.
No. I was like very close to just doing one trade this week until like I found myself with cash on a Dillbags trade. And then I thought, well, I may as well make a heap of money at a Mulatalo and hopefully score 100 points. We just didn't get there this week.
Yeah, no, 100%. Steezers, what do we do if we have Hines and Moses? I'm screwed. That's fine.
Cleary?
No, I wouldn't get Cleary. I'd get Cleary in round 7 after the bye.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's great. I'd be happy if I had Hines and Moses, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. That might do us. Might answer a couple more. 3 rounds in. Should we review our likely ladder with South Sydney in 17th? Nobody's projection. I was having a look at wooden spoon odds today, and South Sydney are paying $35. I've put money on worse things in my life.
Yeah, like Jesse Arthur. It was your money that went on Jesse Arthurs and Dean Mariner last week.
Well, it was 33% of my money. So yes, it was $7.77 of my money. So it was. Mate. Super chats galore. Absolute champions.
Mate, I'm just about to do an NBA show, so I'm going to have that bolter during that.
A bolter for Mattrix. Cheers. Thank you so much for the super chats today, guys. You've been absolutely legends. I mean, Will Shaw says, is it okay to use all my boosts before Origin? I mean, I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's not okay. It really depends on your team. Like, there's no golden rule for boosts. What was it, 2 years ago when I came 110th, whatever it was, I'd use them all by round 13. Last year I came 1900th and I hadn't used them until like round 24. So there's no golden rule. It just depends on sort of how you're going.
The question I've got is if you can generate enough cash early using said boost that you've got this elite team that you're confident running through and just hoping that there's no injuries, then great.
Nozo says, if Jaden Burley starts over Crosland from now, is it worth a swap to Levi? Sure.
Yeah.
I'd want to see Brayley for another week and just see what the fuck he's doing. But like Levi, yeah, his time in the Sun's probably done in 2 weeks' time. So not bad. But Mattrix, you are off to an NBL show. I am off to flex my AFL rank. We have both things to do more important than NRL Supercoach. So we'll see you all on Tuesday for a round 4 preview where our first batch of price changes have come in.
Yeah, I'm excited for Tuesday's show. It's going to be a big one. Oh, I am. Like, there's a lot of changes. You can shape your future on Tuesday.
Oh, mate, my future is cooked. I don't know. Like, what the fuck? Next year, what I've learned from AFL is just to pick people with no real data, and just back my gut, because like I feel like I just picked a bunch of people because I was like, I have to go with the crowd. So now I'm screwed. So yeah. We'll fix this bridge.
Nah, sounds good. I will see you all on Tuesday. Thanks for coming on, guys.
No comment is ever unwarranted. Any feedback or criticism you guys have is always taken on board. And yes, it is just us. It was just me tonight running the show, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So, yes. Also, Aman, any other Latrell fights looking to delete? Yes, my friend. After I ripped into you, Aman, about Sergio Reguilon, feel free to come and rip me about Latrell because fucking what a shit show.
Sergio Perez, number 1. You've listened to an Insight Fantasy Sports podcast. Cheerio.